We're starting right now at 10, tracking Tropical Storm Hermine tonight. We have crews in Virginia and North Carolina, which are both under states of emergency.
Meanwhile, Chief Meteorologist Don Slater is watching that radar as this storm moves closer to our area.
Rain, floods, wind, even the chance for tornadoes.
We're already feeling the effects of Hermine this Labor Day weekend, but the most severe conditions could hit overnight. So let's get right to Don Slater.
Yeah, Don, is this storm following the Hurricane Center's track?
Not exactly, and we're in between everything right now. We did have an 8 p.m. advisory, and we're going to have the 11 p.m. complete advisory. But right now, I want to show you what's going on with things. Conditions are deteriorating, certainly, across the Outer Banks. These are wind gusts. We're seeing steady winds, about 25, 30 miles an hour at Cape Hatteras, for example. But we're seeing gusts occasionally popping on up to about 40, 41 miles an hour. Those are the biggest winds we've seen so far out of this event. As far as rainfall, that's been sneaking its way northward. It's been nothing too terribly extraordinary thus far. There's some bigger rain farther to the south. And of course, the center of the storm is what we're watching right now. Now, a little farther south has been the watchword during the evening hours in terms of where this thing has gone. You can see the center of the storm north of Savannah, north of Charleston, and right on into here. And it's emerging somewhere right on into here, just off Myrtle Beach. Now, that is a little bit farther south of the expected track from the Hurricane Center. Whether that will continue or not, we'll have to wait and see, but it's just slightly farther to the south. I remember, again, it was right on into here, just off Myrtle Beach. Well, look what, and again, right into here. Well, here's the forecast track from the Hurricane Center. This is basically beginning with a position at 8 and taking, but again, the track is actually from 5 o'clock this afternoon, and we'll get an update when the model's complete. It'll be coming up at 11, but for now, it's got things a little bit farther northward. It could indeed be a hint that it could be a little farther southward. By 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 60-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be steady Eddie around 50 miles an hour all the way on up through eastern North Carolina and then emerge offshore, catch hold of some of that warm water, and it'll start to intensify just a bit. 65-mile-an-hour winds. It's extra tropical, but that doesn't matter to you or me. It's still a storm by that point. Then it meanders on off. Now, here's the tricky part for the long run. The forecast models, look at what they're doing in the long run. In the short run, they're taking it offshore, but then they stop it and just loop it on around, just in a mess in terms of what the forecast models are doing. So this could be with us a long time into the first part of next week. Not in a huge way, but it could continue tidal flooding. 1 to 3 inches of rain for the peninsula, 3 to 5 south side, 5 to 7 plus for North Carolina, 45, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts for the coast and bay from around 4 o'clock in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. And then the high tides, we could see some moderate tidal flooding. But the thing about it is, with all that loopiness that I showed you, that it's going to continue to the first part of next week, the storm will linger offshore, and that means the tidal flooding could linger into the first part of next week, too. Tell you more about that coming up in a few minutes.
Live from the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center, this is a severe weather alert.
We continue our coverage now of extra tropical storm Hermine. A live look at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, where it is still very windy and the waves are churning. We have a lot to get to, including a team of reporters in the field. But first, we want to get the latest information from meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler. Jeremy, where do things stand now?
All right, well, Lex, this is no longer a tropical system. It's more of a nor'easter type system now as it moves offshore. Technically, we call it extratropical, but a lot of people relate to it a little bit better when you call it a nor'easter. So that's what's going to be happening. It's going to move to the northeast. We'll have a northeasterly wind here for a while. You can see a lot of rain on the backside, even though the center now is offshore, but there's a lot of rain on the backside, even in Hampton Roads and some into northeast North Carolina. So that rain is going to continue through the afternoon, and then it should taper off late afternoon into the evening. The computer models take Hermine off to the northeast, but then some of them try to bring it back to the west a little bit as we go Sunday into Monday. Then they finally take it to the northeast Wednesday, Thursday, but it's possible we can see the effects linger into tomorrow, at least the winds, and maybe even a little bit into Monday. We'll see. I think the rain will be gone, but the wind may stay up. The winds have caused some high waves. This is what it looks like down at Cape Hatteras Lighthouse right now. There have been some surfers in the water. I do not recommend that. It's very dangerous to go in the water at all. And we do have some high waves, and plus the tide. It's going down around Hatteras, and it's starting to go down here, but it just started to. As you can see, that water made it into the parking lot of Wavy TV. It's a common occurrence. We call this Lake Wavy, just for fun, but at the same time, it is a little dangerous to be driving around in this. You can get stuck, and don't walk in the water if it's high in your neighborhood, because there's a lot of things that can get in there, a lot of bacteria, a lot of dirt, debris, so please don't walk in the water if you can help it. Now, the winds, they're out of the northeast. They're strong. Virginia Beach, northeast gust 49 miles an hour. You got a gust of 40 out of the north at Norfolk, and a gust out of the north at Killable Hills 43. Hatteras, northwest wind 49 miles an hour, the gust. And even in Edenton, we got a gust of 32 miles an hour. So the winds are still strong. Look at these winds here in Hampton Roads. Hampton right now winds northeast 38 miles an hour. Even in Suffolk and Franklin, winds above 25, as well as Williamsburg at this time. So the wind forecast, the peak winds or the gust, still about 50 miles an hour near the shore between now and 3 p.m., but they do start dropping a little bit around 5 o'clock. Still breezy near the shore. Inland, those winds start dropping, and I think by the time we hit 11 o'clock, inland locations, the winds will be down quite a bit, and even near the shore, maybe some winds gusting 25 to 30, 35 at the most. And there's Sunday morning, the winds breezy near the eastern shore, Virginia Beach and Killable Hills, but elsewhere we should be doing pretty good for tomorrow. Now the rain is along the coast. You can see a lot of rain in here. It's trying to move back into mainland Dare County. It's very slowly doing so. So Michoud's going to see some rain again pretty soon. And here's northeast North Carolina. Lots of rain. It's steady. There's some moderate showers here around Grandy. It's breaking up west of Elizabeth City into Perquimans County, but there's some more showers working back into Gates County. Lots of rain across the south side. It's mostly light. There's some moderate showers in here. It's wind-driven, though, but rain from Virginia Beach into Suffolk on the north end, and a few showers over towards Holland. And then on the peninsula, some rain, and it extends into the bay, but it's almost over with in Gloucester, and Matthews. And then on the eastern shore, you've got some widespread rain there. Now, the tide has come and gone for many. It will be dropping now, but towards the evening time, we're going to see the next tide. Sewell's Point, 6 feet, 11:25. There's Duck, North Carolina, 9:35, 6.4 feet, and Wachapreague, 6.9 feet. This will be up to moderate levels. I think the forecasts have been coming down a little bit, so these numbers may change, and we'll have updates on that later today. So between now and 2 p.m., the rain tapers off. The tidal flooding will slowly subside. The water drops there between 2 and 6, maybe just a few showers left over, and a few showers are possible 6 to 10 p.m., mostly near the coast, breezy near the shore, but the winds will be down quite a bit. So watch out for those winds. Watch out for that tidal flooding. It is around today. We'll see improvement as we go into tonight and tomorrow as the winds come down a bit. And tomorrow we're looking pretty good, but there might be a few leftover showers. Again, we'll have updates on tomorrow's forecast coming up. That's the weather forecast. Now I'll turn it over to Lex.
All right, now to 10 on your side's Jason Marks. He has been up and down the Outer Banks since yesterday, this morning, checking out possible tornado damage. And Jason, right now, you're watching NC12.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of spots on Highway 12 that are passable but have water on them. Take a look, like this area behind me. This is in the waves area of Hatteras Island, and you can see as these cars start to come through. Hey, how you doing? As these cars start to come through, you can see there's standing water, and many of the areas on Highway 12 look like this. It's just standing water, and if you have a car that's low to the ground, you might not be able to get through, and definitely do not want to try to drive through it. Now that's all rainwater. That's not from overwash or from soundside flooding. That's all rainwater. Deputies said at one point they radioed in that they might have 8 inches in some points on Highway 12. Now, something else we've been watching, because we've been up and down Highway 12. We went all the way down to Hatteras, where they had that tornado, that possible tornado touchdown earlier today. And we want to show you some fresh video that we just edited for you. And take a look at this. Is from the Hatteras Sands campground. This was from like 1 o'clock in the morning when this happened, a possible tornado touchdown. You can see that 2 campers are on their sides. One, they were both next to each other. One is turned over. The other one actually ended up in a nearby canal. We're told people were in both those campers. And fortunately, they were both able to get out in time, families able to get out before those campers flipped. Now you might see those 2 cabanas sitting in the middle of the canal. We're told in that pink cabana, there was 4 people in that pink cabana. Whatever came through, whether it was straight line winds or whether it was that tornado, picked those cabanas up and tossed them into the canal upside down, that pink one is. And the 4 people inside that cabana were able to swim, get out, swim to safety. We're told they were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Now, we spoke with a woman who was inside one of those campers, and here's her account of what happened around 1 o'clock this morning.
The alarm came over on my husband's phone that said, tornado warning, take shelter. Got him up, got my sister-in-law up, grabbed the kids and the dogs, and ran out of the camper. I came over here because they don't have a smartphone. So by the time I knocked on their door, told them to get out, I turned and the truck and the camper had already started to lift. And then their camper, they got out in time, and their camper went straight into the canal.
What are you thinking at this? I mean, I know it's happening so fast, but what is this like for you?
I'm in a state of shock right now. But all the kids are fine, you know, so the county's been great. They've put the whole family up in a hotel. We just want to get our stuff and go, you know, that's the biggest thing.
Very emotional there to be through something like that. Said she was still in shock at this point, and to make matters worse, as we were there and we were about to leave, the high tide was just getting there, and so all the water was rising, and so the campers that were still there were probably underwater as we were pulling away. I can tell you that we don't know yet if it was a tornado. The National Weather Service will come out, though, going to survey the damage and then decide whether it was something like straight line winds or whether it was a tornado that touched down. At the time, we were under a tornado warning in Hatteras, so that makes sense, but it'll be up to the National Weather Service to determine whether it was a tornado or not. My colleague Joe Fisher will have much more on that story from the Hatteras Village area on that possible tornado coming up tonight on Wavy News 10 at 6. But for now, that's the latest here on the Outer Banks. Jason Marks, now back to you.
All right, thanks, Jason. And a quick note from Dominion Virginia Power. They've got about 50,000 people without power around Hampton Roads. That's a slight drop from earlier this morning. Still not great, though. Report your outages at dom.com. And plenty of you helped us tell the story of this storm by sending in pictures from around the area. Here's a picture of flooding from Poquoson during high tide. As you can see, the water is way past that fence. Don't forget, with high tide and the rain across the area, you can expect to see a lot of areas like this. And now over to Virginia Beach. A viewer sent 2 pictures to our newsroom of trees down in the Aragona neighborhood. The first one, you can see the tree down in front of that brown house. Luckily, it looks like the tree missed the house in the picture. In the second one, it's closer up, same tree. It doesn't look like it did a lot of damage, but just look how close it is to the SUV in that picture. All right, now to floods out in Norfolk. This picture was sent about an hour ago. You can see floods from the rain in the area, and there appears to even be some debris toward the bottom of that picture. Flooding in Norfolk is pretty widespread. This is a picture sent in by viewer Jordan Taylor. You can see the flooding in this picture in Ghent. This is over by the Hag and the footbridge. And one other picture from Norfolk. Here's a look at a tree down on Poplar Hall Circle. You're able to see the root system at the bottom of the tree from where that was uprooted. And this is on Riverside Drive in Portsmouth off High Street near the Elizabeth River. You can see the water is up over the street and into yards there. Now to Chesapeake. Jeremy Hackworth took this picture around 9:30. He says he took the picture along Martin Johnson Road in the Deep Creek area. The tree and the caution tape have the road blocked off, but he says the road is a main entrance to several neighborhoods in that area. And now on up to the peninsula. Hampton police continue to put up a lot of pictures on their Twitter page of storm damage. This is a picture from the Salters Creek portion of the city, and you can see the Armory's seafood market sign in the background and see the water rising from behind those buildings. And now some video from Hampton police. The city has been using Periscope to show flooded and damaged areas across the city. This is a look at conditions from 1st Street and Pilot Avenue in Buckrow. A lot of vehicles continue to drive through those flooded roads. Make sure you're safe if you're going to a flooded area, and as always, please do not try and drive through flooded streets. A reminder, if you see breaking news or weather, and if it's safe to do so, please shoot pictures or video and send those to reportit@wavy.com. Hermine caused a lot of cancellations from local events to flights coming in and out of Hampton Roads. One of the last scheduled events to postpone was the Bruce Springsteen concert tonight. That'll now be Monday night in Virginia Beach. And if you're flying out today or you have someone flying in, be sure to check flight statuses before you head out. You can count on us to keep you updated all afternoon long on the air and on wavy.com. Team coverage comes your way again tonight on Wavy News 10 at 6. Stay with the station on your side. This morning, we can show you how Hermine still threatens our area and how people are cleaning up. Tropical storm Hermine is pushing out to sea and now a post-tropical cyclone. But this system is not done with us yet.
No, not yet. We're on your side with team coverage this morning. Our Kara Dixon is out at the ocean front to give you a look at what people there are dealing with. And of course, meteorologist Jeremy Willer is in the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center.
Yeah, and Jeremy, things certainly look better out there, but we've still got a lot of wind and high tide to deal with today.
Yeah, we're going to see still some breezy conditions, even though Hermine's hundreds of miles offshore. I mean, it's amazing that it can be so far away. We could still have some impacts, but it's kind of becoming, it's more of a nor'easter system now, which is interesting because we technically still have tropical storm warnings for our area. So let me explain that one real quick. And so the tropical storm warnings are up because there may be some gusts above 39 miles an hour. National Hurricane Center is going to track this system even beyond it being tropical because of Hurricane Sandy back in 2012. So just because of that, they want to stay on top of it, even though, you know, technically it's not a tropical system anymore. But still, let's take a look at what it is. It is a system that's way out here out to sea, not that impressive on the satellite and radar, but it is throwing back a few showers our way. We are going to see a few showers out there. And, well, here's the latest information. Again, it's post-tropical now. Here's the center way out there. 65-mile-an-hour winds moving away from us east-northeast at 12 miles an hour. The forecast does take it farther out to sea as we go through today. This is 2 p.m., 65-mile-an-hour winds. Winds will increase then as we go into tonight into tomorrow, but, you know, we'll be way offshore. However, the computer models and the official forecast do bring it back west a little bit, and so that would allow our winds to continue probably into Monday and maybe even pick up a little bit on Monday. We'll see. But it does have it finally moving away Tuesday into Wednesday. A lot of uncertainty in that one, but I think I'm pretty confident that by Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be moving out to sea. So around here, we've got some high waves near the shore. Be careful. Don't go in the water today. That's the beach forecast. I mean, it's just going to be too dangerous. Rip current threat is off the charts, and just be careful if you do try and get in, even up to your waist. Now, there are a few spotty showers around the region. There's a couple in there around Elizabeth City, a couple more in the Hickory area of Chesapeake, and also into the Norfolk area. We got it into Ghent, getting into Portsmouth, and into South Norfolk also. Not too much in Virginia Beach at this time, maybe a sprinkle, a couple sprinkles into northern Suffolk, and we're pretty quiet on the peninsula. There's a few showers getting into the Matthews County area and a few showers over towards Melfa right now. Winds aren't too bad. They're out of the north-northwest at about 5 to 15 miles an hour, but that's nothing compared to what we've seen. And today the winds will pick up north-northwest 10 to 20, gusts to 25. More details on this and the tide we can expect for today. There'll be some tidal flooding. That's coming up.
As the weather improves, so do travel conditions. That means ferry service is picking back up. VDOT is reporting that the Jamestown, Scotland ferry has resumed full operations. In North Carolina, the ferry division reports several routes are back on schedule. We've got a partial list of those for you here. You can find the full list on wavy.com. And Hermine knocked out power to tens of thousands of you yesterday. This morning, many people are still dealing with that.
Well, here's a look at Dominion Power's outage map. Right now, more than 3,000 people are still without electricity in Virginia Beach alone.
Now, those outages aren't affecting as many people in other parts of Hampton Roads. This morning, a little more than 750 people don't have power in Norfolk. Same for about 250 customers in Chesapeake. Dominion is working to get the power back on to those customers. Hermine affected pretty much everyone in our viewing area.
Oh, yeah, we dealt with one thing or another. High wind, heavy rain, and of course, tidal flooding. And now that it's pretty much out of here, people hope to get back to their normal routines.
10 on your side's Kara Dixon is at the ocean front this morning. Kara, how's it looking for you out there?
Lex, Anita, it's pretty windy out here right now down at the ocean front, but that's not stopping many people from being out here jogging, walking their dogs, and just enjoying the beach. Now, let me get out the way so you can see this view behind me of the rough waves down here. It's such a pretty sight that we have that people are just stopping and taking pictures, walking along the beach like I already said. Now, there were no confirmed reports of flooding this morning in Virginia Beach. That's a big difference from what we saw yesterday throughout all of Hampton Roads, where there were a lot of downed trees and flooded neighborhoods. Now, you all already mentioned that Dominion is out working to restore electricity to thousands of homes in our area. The company said that many should get their power up as early as 11 p.m. tonight, and the latest for some Virginia Beach residents is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And now while flooding is down this morning throughout the whole area, some tidal flooding is expected later this morning. Officials are recommending that if you need to be someplace like church this morning, you need to plan and leave earlier than expected, that you usually leave maybe up to 2 hours or so to get where you need to go. Parking garage times have been extended in parts of Norfolk for those garages if you need places to park. Now we'll continue to update you guys live from here at the ocean front. Reporting live in Virginia Beach, Kara Dixon, 10 on your side.
And Hermine did most of its damage in the Outer Banks.
Yeah, the National Weather Service confirms that a tornado did touch down in Hatteras Village. The storm hurt 3 people. This is a look at some of that damage. A woman who lives there says she watched the wind pick up her camper and throw it on its side. Another woman's camper ended up in a lake. The women say although they're upset about those campers, they are very happy to have just made it out alive.
Hermine's winds made roads dangerous in North Carolina. 64-year-old Michael York died when those winds pushed his tractor trailer over on its side. He was a delivery driver for Harris Teeter. The crash happened on Alligator River Bridge. That connects Dare and Terrell counties. Not far away from that, another Harris Teeter tractor trailer flipped trying to cross the Virginia Dare Memorial Bridge. No one was seriously hurt in that crash. Some mail delivery drivers, though, weren't taking any chances crossing the bridges in the high winds.
State trooper told us we were going to be in the river if we tried to go across there.
A little scary? It was scary because the wind and the waves are going crazy out there.
Harris Teeter put out a statement about its employee. It reads, "The entire Harris Teeter family is deeply saddened by the loss of our friend and colleague. Our condolences are with his family and friends. He served Harris Teeter for 12 years and was recognized for the last 9 years in a row with our company's esteemed Safe Driving Award. We are grateful there were no serious injuries associated with the accident on Virginia Bridge."
Time now is 7:06. The heavy wind and rain caused some problems along the ocean front. A lot of people we talked to said driving was pretty tough because of those high waters, but once the winds died down, people started to head back outside. Some were on the boardwalk playing Pokemon Go, and we also talked to some students who were bummed their last summer weekend was a washout.
Is that why you're out riding bikes?
Yes.
Is that because you've been cooped up all day?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm tired of being
Just
inside.
needed to get out, yeah.
Being inside sucks, even on messy days.
Some people did try to hit the water. A mom we spoke to says she saw some people try to get on their boogie boards, but the wind kept knocking them off.
Well, here's some video our photographers got in Portsmouth yesterday, and you can check out how deep that water was and hear the wind. Those cars were halfway underwater. Still, some people decided it was okay to go out and walk through it.
It's here. Tropical Storm Hermine is on top of North Carolina after pummeling the South.
Oh my God, I can't see.
We have live team coverage in 3 different cities. Jason Marks in Nags Head, Aaron Kelly is at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, and Rico Bush is live in Norfolk.
And of course, meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler will be here to track Hermine's latest path and what we can expect from it throughout the day. Good Saturday morning. Thanks for joining us early. I'm Lex Gray.
And I'm Katie Collette. We have a lot to get to this morning. We'll be with you for at least the next 3 hours with everything you need to know about Hermine. Overnight, we heard reports of a possible tornado causing damage and some minor injuries in Dare County.
And right now, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel is working on a level 4 wind restriction, which means only cars, pickup trucks, and minivans not carrying or towing any cargo can cross. The wind is picking up, the rain is picking up, so let's get right into it with meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's serious. In Category 4, we get that maybe once or twice a year, it seems like. So, I mean, this is a very serious situation. Going to be tough trying to get around this morning. I suggest everybody stays in today if you can. We've got tropical storm warnings all up and down our area. Basically, the whole viewing area is in a tropical storm warning. Pardon me if I said watch. We're in a warning, and that is because Hermine is moving through the area. And it is on track. It's widened up quite a bit. The center here is very broad, and so around that center is where we're getting those strong winds. Some of those strong winds are already reaching Hampton Roads. This is moving in between Hatteras and mainland Dare County over the next few hours. Then it's going to move out to sea. But you can see that rain spreads out far from the center, and we're getting some of that heavier rain here in Hampton Roads. I'll zoom in on that in just a bit. Let's take a look at this in full. This is Tropical Storm Hermine, and the latest information has winds of 60 miles an hour, moving east-northeast at 21 miles an hour. This is the latest update that just came out a little bit ago from the National Hurricane Center. So there it is. and sustained winds of 60 miles an hour around that center. That means the winds will be howling for 50, 60 miles an hour for maybe an hour or two in your area. And this is right around mainland Dare County towards the Outer Banks. So we're talking about those types of winds. And towards about 9 a.m., it'll be right on top of the Outer Banks, or maybe moving off shore there just a little bit. And then as it moves away, it'll actually strengthen a little bit. Winds of 60 miles an hour Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m., even though it's offshore. And so it may even become, believe it or not, a nor'easter that's strong as a hurricane by the time we get to Sunday or Monday. Look at how the winds increase in here, and that'll throw back some winds towards Hampton Roads Sunday, maybe even into Monday. We'll see. Right now, those winds are gusting up to 37 miles an hour Virginia Beach, 43 miles an hour Norfolk, 39 miles an hour in Hampton. Even inland towards Suffolk, Chesapeake, we got winds above 30 miles an hour. So lots of rain in here right now. That center's spinning down across North Carolina. We've got some heavy downpours in there south of Wanchese. A steady rain for all of northeast North Carolina, Elizabeth City, Edenton, Moyock. We have heavy rain over the south side right now between Norfolk down to the Suffolk area. Here's southern Virginia Beach, Chesapeake. It's moderate showers for you, but that heavy rain is up around Algonquin Park, stretching back through Portsmouth and Churchland over to Baileytown and in towards, again, downtown Suffolk. Peninsula, you're seeing some moderate showers here as well. Heavy rain at times. Eastern Shore, Cape Charles getting some heavy downpours, and not as bad over towards the Middle Peninsula at this time. But today we are going to see that. We're going to see some tidal flooding this morning. Sewell's Point going to get up to about 6.6 feet. And it's just going to be a mess today. I'm going to talk more about the rain, the wind, the tidal flooding, all in this half hour, so stay tuned for those updates. And we got a lot of updates right now from our reporters in the field. Katie?
Around 2 this morning, we heard reports of a possible tornado touching down in Dare County.
That's right. Injuries were reported, but they are said to be minor. We pick up our team coverage of Tropical Storm Hermine with Jason Marks, who is live in Nags Head. Jason, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we're right in the middle of the storm, have been for a couple hours here in the Outer Banks. Now, let me touch upon a little bit about that situation that happened on Hatteras Island. As you mentioned, it was about 2 o'clock. We're told that a possible tornado touchdown near Hatteras Village. We're told it was the Hatteras Sands campground. 2 mobile homes were damaged. We're told they were picked up and thrown from their foundation, and 4 people, minor injuries, were rushed to the hospital. Crews quickly rushed out there and searched for everyone. What I'm told is that everyone is accounted for, so that's good news. 4 minor injuries, could obviously have been a lot worse. So here we are now, we're in Nags Head. Rain has been coming down for quite a while. Obviously, it's very windy. We are now starting to see some water, a lot of puddling on the streets. I can tell you that Highway 12, we're told that in some spots has about 8 inches of water on it. There are plenty of down power lines and some trees down throughout the area, but we're right in the middle of it. It continues to come down. We will not know about some of the major damage estimates until obviously the sun starts to come up and we start to see some of those damages, but it's continuing to come down. Not a good situation here in Dare County. We'll have an update for you coming up in about a half an hour, but for now, that's the latest in Nags Head. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
Jason, thank you very much. And joining us now in Virginia Beach is 10 on your side's Aaron Kelly.
Aaron, you're at the ocean front where flooding might not be an issue just yet, but the waves behind you should be pretty impressive eventually.
Yeah, and we're on 17th Street. I got out of the truck, my hat ripped off, and it went whipping around the corner of this building. So the winds are very strong right now. We are getting soaked from the rain. And I just want to show you, you can see it right here, this canopy, how it's just going crazy in the wind. We actually saw a couple people come out here as early as it is and as wild as it is out here, coming to check out the beach. Now, of course, Virginia Beach Life Saving Services, they don't want anybody going in the water today. They are concerned about that. As we were driving here, we saw heavy rain, wind driving the rain across the highway, and just coming down here to the ocean front, we've seen trash cans knocked over. We saw a visitor's guide stand knocked over. So the wind's really a concern right now, gusting quite a bit. You definitely have to hold on to your hat when you're out here. We'll send it back to you.
We are dealing with thousands of power outages right now. Many of the North Carolina electric cooperatives say they'll post updates to their Facebook and Twitter pages, so we're going to monitor those for updates.
Now, if you lose power and need to report an outage, many of them do have an app where you can do that. Take a look. This is Dominion's live outage map. Dare County has 1,300 without power, Chesapeake 1,300, Newport News 1,600 customers are without power. In Norfolk, it's 1,400. In Virginia Beach, nearly 3,000 customers without power, and in Gloucester, 1,500.
Back now at 5:14, we're tracking Tropical Storm Hermine with live crews throughout our area.
We are hours away from high tide, but some areas are seeing a little flooding right now. Taking a look now in Norfolk with Rico Bush in Ocean View. Rico, what are you seeing?
Well, Katie, Lex, we are starting to get the effects from that tropical storm. Very strong winds as well as light rain. But because of this rain, that rain is actually pelting my face where it feels like needles. Right now, I actually have to plant my feet in order to stand so that wind won't blow me away. But walk with me really quick, and I want to show you something here. You can see all this flooding. Take a look at this, several inches that have flooded this street. If you take a look, you can see I'm very far down in this water right now. This is on 4th Street in Ocean View. Again, some cars, as you can see right here, are making their way through the water. Some cars didn't even take that chance. They just turned around from this area. We also know that that is an issue. If you drive through floods like this on streets, there's a potential that your car could get stalled. But again, you can see how strong this wind is. It is really just gusting this entire area. Cars are, like I said, turning around, not even taking a chance, but some cars are taking that chance. These weather conditions are really bad out here in Ocean View right now. I just put in a call into police dispatchers, and they tell me at this point there is no reports of any structural damage. Of course, we'll be watching out that throughout the morning as we continue to get these winds and that rain. We'll continue to have another update for you here in the next 30 minutes, but for now, that's the very latest here from Ocean View in Norfolk. I'm Rico Bush. Lex, Katie, back to you.
A Super Bowl highlight. This is how it all went down. The Giants, NFC champion, the AFC champion, pit the New England Patriots. A rematch of Super Bowl 42, and the Gronk was active. The only question is how effective can it be with his ankle wrapped like that? First play of scrimmage from the Patriots after the defense stiffened to force the Giants to punt. It is an incomplete pass down the middle of the field to no one in particular. So John Parry, in his first assignment as an NFL referee in the Super Bowl, has to make a big call, and he makes it. It is.
There's nobody going to the post, Rich. That's intentional grounding in the end zone. That's a safety. 2-0 Giants.
2-0 Giants, who get the ball back and then march down the field. And on 3rd and short in the red zone, it's Victor Cruz getting the ball ripped away. But you also saw a flag on the play. 12 men on the field, so it's not a turnover. It's actually a first down for the Giants. And then Manning finds Cruz in the end zone, and he salsas his way, along with the Giants, to a 9-0 lead.
What a throw by Peyton Manning that was.
Right in between, you've got in between the corner and the linebacker. Watch Gerard Mayo's back to the quarterback, and he fits it right over his shoulder pad for the touchdown. Great concentration by Victor Cruz. And watch Salsa, Mike.
Wow, that was a ridiculous catch and throw.
2 major mistakes by the Patriots, though. An intentional grounding that leads to 2 points, and an illegal 12 men on the field that leads to 7. It's 9-3 now, however, when Gronkowski catches his first of the game. It was his first target of the game. 20-yard gain down to the 35-yard line. 2 plays later, Brady to his other tight end. That's Aaron Hernandez. They're moving the chains. They're moving it down the field. Less than 2 minutes to go in this half now, down 9-3. It's Brady to Hernandez again. Move the chains on 3rd and 4.
He seemed to figure into the game plan a little bit more early than Gronk did.
2 plays later, 3rd and 10, 39 ticks to go. Brady steps up in the pocket, finds Wes Welker, move the chains again. Eli Manning looking on. He's realizing I'm not even going to get a chance to touch the ball again in this half. 4 plays later, 3rd and 4. Brady inside the 10. All sorts of time. Danny Woodhead, a former Jet, scoring for the Patriots against the Giants in the end zone. Touchdown. And New England leading at the half of a half that the Giants seem to dominate. It's 10-9 and Giselle. Oh, yeah.